chasing the ball for such long periods.
Foden, great control, danger, Alvarez! What a hit! And that's the opening goal. Phil Foden with brilliant control to bring the ball down on the right and then play it back to Julian Alvarez, who's hardly been involved, and he has smacked it across goal and into the far corner of the net to make it Manchester City 1, Newcastle United 0.
It's Calvin Magpie 24/7 and I hope he's all good. So, Newcastle suffer their first defeat of the season in a 1-0 defeat at the Etihad Stadium. Man City, obviously, in terms of the first away game of the season, it is probably the hardest in world football that you could ask for. So difficult task, but I think after the Villa game, especially last week with the way that went, like, there was a little bit of confidence, where there was a little bit, obviously Man City had to play in midweek in the Super Cup final, and obviously De Bruyne injured for 4 months. There was a lot of positivity, and I was even going down. I went down to Etihad last night, and I felt positive. I fancied it, but I don't know. Just to fancy your chances at the Etihad is mad. Sometimes probably foolish, but we didn't go down there and embarrass ourselves. I think I've seen a lot of stuff online talking about we got embarrassed, we got outplayed, and it's just like, I don't feel we did. Man City are so good. Like, they're ridiculously good. Like, in 20 years, they'll talk about this Man City team as being one of the greatest club sides ever seen. It's the way that, like, you look around the league, Brighton, Villa, Man United, Arsenal, teams at the top end of the Premier League, they usually can't handle Newcastle's press at its best. And Man City, for the most part, passed it round with like it was child's play, like it was easy. And that isn't a knock on us. I think we've tried to execute the game plan, but Man City being able to play out from the back, either that or booting it up to Haaland, just proved so effective, and we didn't know whether we were coming or going, and it just proved to be a frustrating night. For we did have half chances. It seemed every time Miguel Almiron got the ball, it's almost like Man City allowed him to have that space because they knew he was going to fuck up so much. And that's not a knock on Miggy. I love Miggy to death, and I think someone who works hard and is such a good player. Like the season he had last season, nobody deserved it more than Almiron. But in these big games, and as a team that's in the Champions League and wants to stay in the Champions League, these big games are what you're judged on as a team in the top 4, top 6. And in these games, away from home in particular, we just don't seem there. It's either we seem to show the team too much respect, or we just don't turn up on the day. And whether that be Villa last season or Wembley, Man City, like, most of them games were struggling, really struggle. Liverpool aside away, where we got robbed, but it just seems to, I think if it's not nipped in the bud soon, it will become something that the media pay attention to, and yeah, it is going to be hard away from home against the big sides, but that is something, like, obviously Man City or Man City, like, Real Madrid could go to the Etihad and lose 4 or 5-0. Like, Man City are that good. But I don't know, I just feel like going forward we just failed to execute. And Miggy was an example of that. The amount of times he had space, run into space, and he has to cut inside and pass the ball off, which slows we down. Instead of being like a bit more direct, like would like him to be. But yeah, it was a difficult game, and I've seen a lot of people slate the midfield, but it it's always going to be difficult. It is, and I can excuse the players for playing in a hard-working performance in a tough game and looking in parts of that game a match to the treble winners. Like, treble in England doesn't come round often. It's happened twice in the Premier League era, and I'd argue Man City are probably a better team than that 99 team. That's a whole video and a whole debate within itself, but I'd probably say it is. And for us to lay a glove on them and try and make things happen, it's good to see. So I think there's plenty of positives to take out of the performance, but it's just shit that we're not, like, we didn't obviously put them to the sword or punish them with the half chances that we did have. I mean, don't get us wrong there, goal, Alvarez, brilliant finish. Burn gets pulled out of position by Foden, just like he did in March at the Etihad. So that seems to be a tactic that's worked for them a couple of times now against we. But yeah, it's like I say, like these games against the bigger teams away from home in particular are what shows to be the, like, it shows the division between the elite clubs and the very good teams in the league. So yeah, it's a tough one. Obviously, we'll get back on it next week, and I'm looking forward to Liverpool at home, because they're going to be without McAllister. They seem short of options in midfield, and a lot of new players there, so they'll be trying to click and get to know one another and stuff like that. So I really think we can put them to the sword, and plus I feel like Liverpool won as well, so looking forward to that. But in terms of man of the match performances for me, I think Botman played outstanding. He handled Haaland very well, considering it's Haaland. He's a freak of nature. He's like the Brock Lesnar of football. It's just like, it's insane. But yeah, all things considered, I thought Botman played well. I thought Fabian Schär played well. The tackle in the second half he made, I mean, I think it was the first second half. Second half he made the brilliant challenge that he made. Trippier was first class as always. I don't think Grealish really had a sniff. But other than the back four, back five, Dan Burn aside, because I don't think Dan Burn played very well. I thought it was just a case of the chances we did get, we didn't execute, and it was just it's such a shame. But you know, it's a case of progression. First time Eddie Howe went to the Etihad, got battered. Second time, 2-0 loss. Third time, 1-0 loss. But we're shit at the Etihad anyway. Even before Man City got took over, we couldn't beat them. 2000 was the last time we won at the old main road. Shearer scoring, and that was the start of the fucking millennium. So like, it's gonna be difficult, like, to try and break that record. But you know what? Next couple of years, I'm confident we'll do it eventually. Like, but yeah, Anderson as well. Thought he came in off the bench. Not negative either. Always thinking forward, regardless of what happens. It's always a forward pass. It's a forward thought. Very positive. And I think if Joe Linton, who hobbled off, doesn't play, I think Anderson will for sure. I know he started against Liverpool the last time, and everything went badly wrong first 20 minutes. But yeah, for me, it was a good performance by him, and plus he had an amazing pre-season as well. So he's a lot better as a player now than he was last year. He showed a lot of progression. So get your comments in, let us know how you feel about yesterday's performance. Is it a overreaction on social media, do you feel, or do you feel like it's warranted? Or are you disappointed? Let us know. But I'll catch you on the next video, which will be the preview for Liverpool next week. And I'll love yous and leave yous for now, and catch you on the next Magpie 24/7 video. See you later.